The figure of 1.5 degrees Celsius has become a pivotal benchmark in discussions surrounding climate change, symbolizing the threshold beyond which the consequences of global warming could become catastrophic. This seemingly innocuous number encapsulates a profound urgency, representing not merely a temperature rise, but a tipping point that could dictate the future of our planet and its inhabitants. Understanding why this specific figure has garnered such significance requires delving into the science of climate change, the implications of temperature increases, and the collective response of humanity to this looming crisis. The origins of the 1.5-degree target can be traced back to the Paris Agreement, a landmark accord established in 2015, where nearly every nation on Earth committed to limiting global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius and to strive for a more ambitious target of 1.5 degrees. This agreement emerged in response to mounting scientific evidence that even a 2-degree rise could lead to severe environmental disruptions, including more frequent and intense heat waves, droughts, floods, and the loss of biodiversity. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, has highlighted that limiting warming to 1.5 degrees is crucial to preserving ecosystems, reducing the risks of extreme weather events, and protecting vulnerable populations worldwide. To grasp the significance of this threshold, one must consider the projected impacts of temperature increases. A rise of 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels is estimated to lead to a range of adverse effects, including a higher frequency of extreme weather events, rising sea levels, and significant disruptions to food and water security. Coral reefs, often referred to as the rainforests of the sea, face devastation at this level. Studies indicate that coral bleaching becomes widespread with even a modest increase in temperature. This loss not only affects marine biodiversity, but also the livelihoods of millions who depend on these ecosystems for food and income. As the temperature climbs further to 2 degrees Celsius and beyond, the consequences become increasingly severe. The IPCC's reports suggest that a 2-degree rise would result in the loss of nearly all coral reefs, a dramatic increase in the frequency of heat waves, and shifts in climatic patterns that could render vast areas of the planet uninhabitable. The difference between 1.5 and 2 degrees may seem trivial in numerical terms, but in reality, it represents a chasm of potential devastation. The urgency of limiting warming to 1.5 degrees is underscored by the stark reality that every fraction of a degree matters in the fight for a sustainable future. The challenge, however, lies not only in recognizing the importance of this threshold, but also in mobilizing the political will and societal commitment necessary to achieve it. The transition to a low-carbon economy requires a radical rethinking of energy production, transportation, industry, and agriculture. It demands an unprecedented level of cooperation among nations, as well as the active engagement of businesses, communities, and individuals. The path to limiting warming to 1.5 degrees involves a rapid reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, with the goal of reaching net zero emissions by around 2050. This requires both immediate action and long-term planning, emphasizing the need for sustainable practices and innovations that can transform our economies and societies. Moreover, the pursuit of the 1.5-degree target also raises questions of equity and justice. The effects of climate change are not felt equally Vulnerable populations, particularly in developing countries, often bear the brunt of environmental degradation despite contributing the least to the problem. Addressing climate change through the lens of justice means recognizing the historical responsibilities of industrialized nations and ensuring that those most affected have a voice in the decision-making processes. Climate action must be inclusive, taking into account the needs and rights of marginalized communities and fostering resilience against the impacts of climate change. The urgency of the 1.5-degree goal is further amplified by the role of public awareness and activism. Movements advocating for climate action have surged in recent years, driven by a growing recognition of the climate crisis and the need for immediate change. These movements, led by passionate individuals and organizations, have succeeded in placing climate change at the forefront of political agendas worldwide. They challenge leaders to commit to ambitious climate policies and hold them accountable for their actions. The power of collective action cannot be underestimated. It is a reminder that individuals, when united by a common purpose, can drive significant change. The journey toward limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees is fraught with challenges, yet it is also filled with opportunities for innovation and transformation. The transition to renewable energy sources, such as solar, wind, and hydroelectric power, offers the potential for sustainable economic growth while reducing emissions. Advancements in technology, such as carbon capture and storage, have the capacity to mitigate the effects of existing emissions. Furthermore, reimagining urban spaces through sustainable design and transportation can create healthier, more resilient communities. As we reflect on the significance of the 1.5-degree target, it becomes clear that this number is not just a scientific metric, it is a call to action. It represents a collective responsibility to safeguard the planet for future generations. The urgency is palpable and the stakes are high. Every action taken today, no matter how small, contributes to the broader effort of mitigating climate change and ensuring a livable world for all. The path may be daunting, but the potential for a sustainable future is within reach if we are willing to act decisively and collaboratively. The question is not whether we can achieve this goal, but rather how quickly we can mobilize our collective will to make it happen. The clock is ticking, and the time for action is now.